Namaste, Suswagatam, and welcome to our Sunday edition of Gyan Ganga Words of Wisdom on our Virat Hindustan Sangam social media channels. Today is episode number 237, and we will be discussing for the next 45 minutes the topic are the results of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, a rejection of Hindutva, with Dr. Subramaniam Swamy. So with these words, it is over to Dr. Swamy. But before this, I thank our viewers across the globe for their patronage and for our wide-ranging viewership across the globe. Over to Dr. Swamy.
Thank you, Jagdish. As you said, the topic is, are the results of 2024 poll a rejection of Hindutva? Now, I think rejection is much too strong a word, because after all, the BJP is still the largest single party. And therefore, I would not say on the basis of numbers that it is a rejection. And so we need to go a little further and to consider this in more greater detail. Yes, it is unescapable setback. There's no question it's a setback. It's unacceptable since BJP has lost its single party national majority. For two particular, that is for 10 years, in two occasions, the BJP got an absolute majority and increasing. And it was also touted that it will increase to 400 and so on. Of course, people like myself, some of us, did a survey and we came to the conclusion, I had said 220, and it came much closer than anybody else's, because we were seeing a discontent amongst the public. There are two kinds of discontents that was. One is people felt that, we are not serious about Hindutva. That was one set of discontent I came across. The second discontent is the economic life, whatever you may say about the IMF and the World Bank and so on. But the common people were facing very great hardships, and particularly middle class, lower middle class, and the working class. And so that ultimately was a factor which made us come down below 272. Now, why did the question is, why did the BJP be able to rise for 10 years? And in fact, they were perceived as the people who were going to rise even the next 5 years, where we didn't. So obviously we ourselves were fooled, but the public was very, very clear that they didn't want to give us any further opportunity. So therefore, I would say that it is not as if that everyone in BJP got it wrong. Many of us knew it. I am telling you that there were a lot of people, but Modi was not willing to listen. In fact, when the party president, Nadha, even said, who is RSS? RSS, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, RSS was necessary. But for us, we don't need RSS. I mean, that is that kind of arrogance which we were all very surprised. So I would say this much, that many of us did get the numbers right, very close to being right. So therefore, if an analysis has been done in the party, we're all sitting together, the party might have been put wise and we could have done some course correction. Now, the core question that been is, has this lack of majority meant that the Hindutva has been rejected by the public, and therefore a big loss for the BJP? Now, there I would say that the question will have to be seen in a more moderate way. I don't think that this whole campaign was really based around Hindutva. It was based on Mr. Modi going everywhere. In fact, there were hardly anybody else except Modi who went around with using his Air Force plane, which under the laws passed by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister is entitled to use even in an election. So, therefore, I would say that the real question that we should be answering is not whether the Hindutva issue has been hurt by this defeat. Hindutva is a much wider thing. Many people who are not even with BJP are for Hindutva and seeing that there is a renaissance that comes about in Hinduism, which is long overdue. But what is important is that the question would be how do we make these new policies um, by which we can continue to be a party which is in a position to further the cause of Hindutva. And the reason I'm saying that is that when you look at some of the things that people have said, educated people have told me very much about China. Now the whole country or the educated people of the country know that China has occupied 4,065 square kilometers of Ladakh land, which was undisputed land. And Mr. Modi only said once that koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi. And there was silence maintained by the entire bureaucracy, the foreign minister, the defense minister. And therefore, I would say that it was an attempt to suppress it. And as all of us here in this gathering that we have today, you know that we met and spoke to the Ladakhi intellectual, and he told us about the fact that yes, we are finding our sheep and others to be unable to go where once upon a time it was our land, and the Chinese have come indeed and occupied. So this is a word. Now it went to the military people who told their family, their family told other people. It has spread quite a bit that Mr. Modi is not, the strong man that he claims. But the fact is that what Mr. Songam Wakchung told us is in fact that is the intellectual. Wangchuk is an intellectual, and he teaches there in thing, and we are hoping to go to Ladakh and see for ourselves what is going on. But the fact is that there are people who are saying, but the media is not reporting it. And so the question that I'm bringing to you is that the word went, there's an undercurrent. Economy is not doing very well. You may say anything, you can say 6%, 10%, this, that, nothing. But the fact is, down at the public level, the people, if they have employment, they don't have enough wages. And if they have no employment, of course, the question is they are in a very, very difficulty. There are a lot of people suffering throughout, and the poor people definitely this time did not vote for her. So I would say that we must understand that our party has unfortunately slipped into this crony capitalism of Adanis and so on. And these people have isolated the entire party, attitudes and so on, away from the common public. There was no address to the common public, and and convinced them that yes, we are doing this for you, will be doing more for you, but it was all big grand show and so on, and therefore it had a very, very negative effect. So what I would say, concluding, so that we can now participate in this matter, because all of us are equally involved in this political drama that took place in the form of an election, that first of all, what I can say is not that the Hindutva has been affected, but what I can say is the question is is Mr. Modi as a leader obsolete? That is, he must not be the leader anymore. And anyway, under the RSS rule, Modi is a pracharak, and pracharaks are subject to the age of 75. Advani and Muliman Joshi had actually immediately responded when they were told that now they're crossing 75, they must quit. At the peak of their political career, they gave up and went into the Margdarshan, as it is called. They went to the Margdarshan Mandal. So now people say that lists are being circulated. I haven't seen them authenticity, but the fact is that people are saying that now some more people will have to go to the Margdarshan Mandal, and names are being floated around, because this applies to people who have been pracharaks and not in general terms to anybody in the BJP. But Modi's future is doubtful, and I think he should not fight it. He should have the courage to say that yes, it's now. I dismiss all the criticism that are against me, but I think that's proper for me that I'll be 75 in September 17th this year. Therefore, I'll quit and go for Margdarshan Mandal. Second thing is, we now no more need one leader party. One leader who is, it's more the Soviet system that we have, where we should have have a more collective system. See, the democracy is a teamwork. There's so many aspects, so many angles. Economics is not the same thing as foreign policy. Foreign policy is not the same thing as agriculture. So you need a teamwork, and the ministers must work as a team. So therefore, I think the more important thing is to see how we can build a collective. We should identify names from different states and bring them together, and then go to the electorate as a team. Finally, I would say that our commitment should be to ensure that Hindutva includes those who are likely to also harm Hindutva. And I can tell you, whatever may be the drama that they do, Mr. Rahul Gandhi and his mother, they both are against the Hindu structure of India. They want what they call as secularism. But the fact of the matter is that Rahul Gandhi, in paper, had on his own handwriting applied for British citizenship in 2003, got it, and on that basis he was allowed to set up a company and buy a house and all that. And all these records I had given to Rajnath when he was Home Minister. Rajnath then sent him a show cause notice. But since Mr. Amit Shah came to office, he has refused to do anything about it. I can go to court, but how many things am I supposed to go to court? I went to court for National Herald, and look at the amount of blocks they have put on me. They won't give me my documents. They won't allow the courts easily to even list it by their own clandestine way. So it's not possible for an individual to do everything. This is supposed to be the government. Now, all I am asking is that Mr. Rahul Gandhi, in his own signature, which I've submitted to the government, which was sent by Rajnath in Rajnath's time to the Indian High Commission. The Indian High Commission said, yes, this is authenticated. It is, in fact, Mr. Rahul Gandhi's signature, and in fact, he has created this. So, therefore, they are today doing what we should not allow them to do, to be foreigners and here illegally work on the Indian passports, and then deposit all their money abroad as foreigners. So I would say the main issue for us is that we should not allow the dilution to take place of the Gandhi family, and allow them to come back, crawl back into power, because they have demonstrated what they did when they did the Hindu terror episode in the early first decade of the 21st century. They have no intention, and what their connections are with Sonia Gandhi's connections are directly with Putin, and how she went with him to St. Petersburg, and in fact he took her even to where her father, Mr. Sonia Gandhi's father, who was a soldier of Hitler's army, and he was arrested by Stalin's army during World War II, and then he was put in a jail called place nearby to St. Petersburg. And she went to see where her father was kept in jail, and was released, I think, a little after the war was over. So, I mean, you are dealing with people who are essentially foreign, and we fought the Islamic forces who are foreigners who came here, looted our country, then the British. And after having got all this, it is time for us to be very clear that under no circumstances will allow foreigners to hold positions of leadership. In that, Mr. Modi has been complicit. Why he's been complicit is another story, which I will have in another thing when I get more documentation. But Mr. Modi has blocked me in the National Herald case by not allowing me to get any documents from the government, even though they have been, they are now on bail. The court held there is enough prima facie material to send them to jail. But since I said I'm not insisting on their going to jail, they said, all right, then they will be in bail. They have to pay some 50,000 rupees or something, and some other conditions that they had to fulfill. And today they are out on bail. And when they want to go abroad, they have to come to court and have my concurrence on their going abroad. Recently, when Mr. Rahul Gandhi went abroad to give some lectures, he had to come to court and get permission from the court, and the court, of course, at my insistence, reduced the 10-year period that he wanted for freedom to travel abroad down to 1 year or 2 years. So, therefore, I'm saying we have this issue is not of BJP losing and Mr. Modi being given another chance and all that, because Mr. Modi has compromised on the fundamental issue of Hindutva, which is to not allow foreigners to dominate our politics. And so it is in this context, I thought that when Mr. Shetty suggested we discuss this matter, I consider it very important that we should start discussing this and have more discussions as we get more evidence. Over to you, Jagdish.
Thank you, Dr. Swami. In a way, what we can say perhaps is the results of the 2024 poll is a rejection by the voters of Modi of not doing enough on Hindutva. That also could be said in one way. Okay, Arvind, you can go ahead with your first question.
I'll just, Jagdish, I'll just extend the line that you have mentioned. I would say that 2014 and 2019 saw a huge Hindutva wave, which gave BJP a large number of seats in Lok Sabha. 2024 had limited appeal of Hindutva narrative. And this is evident in the fact that Muslims consolidated themselves and voted against BJP, unlike 2019, where BJP had got not sizable, but some percentage of votes. This time it was not so. As against that, Hindus were divided. on caste lines, especially BJP losing about 25-30 seats in UP, is because the Hindus voted not on Hindutva plank, but they voted on the caste lines. And this could be one of the reasons what Dr. Swami has mentioned, the economic reasons. So maybe economic reasons pulled that Hindutva narrative from BJP, and therefore this attraction of BJP on Hindutva was lost and not given so much importance by the UP voters, which made a significant impact. And for example, Maharashtra, the division of the Hindutva narrative parties, Shiv Sena was divided, and therefore the Hindus' votes were also divided. So UP and Maharashtra, I would say they were the two major factors which made the difference to BJP for about 30 to 40 seats. And it is not because if it was Hindutva, now people say Ayodhya, that Ayodhya BJP had lost. In fact, BJP lost in 4 religious places in UP.
Yes.
Prayagraj, the Sangam, the Ayodhya, Chitrakoot, where the Lord Rama had been there, and Shravasti. Chitrakoot falls in the Banda constituency, and Ayodhya falls in the Faizabad constituency, and Prayagraj is Allahabad. So these 4 places they are. However, they still retained Kashi and Mathura in Uttar Pradesh. Not only that, Nasik in Maharashtra, Puri in Orissa, Devghar in Jharkhand, Somnath in Gujarat, Haridwar in Uttarakhand, and Kedarnath, and Vaishno Devi in Jammu. So all these religious places BJP has won. So we
No,
cannot,
sir. No,
make a sweeping statement.
Arvind, I want to correct you. Nasik BJP did not win.
The Shinde Shiv Sena won. Same thing.
No. Shinde Shiv Sena also lost. Uddhav Thackeray won. In fact, the entire route of Rama Yatra or Vanvas, BJP lost all throughout.
So it was the curse of Lord Rama, and not so much of Lord Krishna and Lord Shiva. So Kashi and Mathura were retained by BJP, and the places which were connected with the Ram,
Kashi was retained with a much lower,
much reduced margin. Reduced margin. Yes, certainly. So it was a vote against Hindutva to a certain extent, but the reason was this, that Muslim consolidated and the polarization of Hindus did not work, because BJP was working on this equation of polarization, that if Muslims vote against BJP, then Hindus should also unite against in favor of BJP, which did not happen, and therefore made the difference over 30 to 40 seats.
right?
Ramesh,
Yeah,
your
Dr. Swami, I've heard what you've said. I think in this poll, Hindutva has rejected BJP. This is my opinion. I think it's more or so, instead of whether what happened, we have rejected, because BJP never fought on the platform of Hindutva. It was only about Modi ki guarantee. So the Modi ki guarantee failed because he was trailing in the first 3 phases or 4 phases of the counting himself. So he made it all about himself and his Vikas or Viksit, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, Hindutva rejected. As Jagdish said, wherever Rama had done his yatra, his vanvas for 14 years, all those places rejected Modi. It is a warning from the Hindutva people who are true Hindutva, not Namke Vaste be Anjbak and Gandbaks who think that just because they post a few pictures of Modi or Lord Rama every day on Twitter. These are hardcore people that have suffered, be it Varanasi, be it Ayodhya. We have seen this before the polls. They just destroyed buildings and no compensation and all those things. It has, an undercurrent had spread before the elections, and it is obvious that a lot of the places that they should have won, even Ayodhya of all places, even though, yes, they say SP is stronger than, irrespective of the fact, when you built such a grand temple, you're supposed to have won the seat. And there, they've rejected it. And it is a subtle statement that BJP has been completely wiped out. They had thought about, even if you look at Tamil Nadu, Dr. Swami, even in Karnataka, they thought there'll be some revival of some Hindu forces. Nothing's wiped out. And Jagdish T, even his yesterday when he spoke to Sri Iyer, or even before in our show, very clearly said how Maharashtra has turned the tide. And Maharashtra was supposed to be a stronghold for BJP, and because of the Hindutva forces, and the Hindutva forces has understood who the true Hindutva is, at least in Maharashtra. They said, okay, now I think we misunderstood the guys. So now they're starting to support the original Shiv Sena, not the duplicate one that we have today. That's one, Dr. Sam. And second, I think this trend is going to continue, because even after the polls, the Andhbaks and Gandhbaks are alienating the Hindus even further by saying, don't go to Ayodhya, don't go to worship Ram. They're spreading this nonsense, saying that Ayodhya rejected Modi, so we should reject Lord Ram. They're spreading this nonsense.
Burn the Hindu shops also in Ayodhya. That's
Yes.
also there.
And this is this kind of Gundaism that maybe have been very easy for the duo in Gujarat to peddle will not work. It is just going to hurt them a little bit more, Dr. Swami. And I don't know what caught Modi for doing the Prana Pratishtha, even though you and I know when it really happened. The chief priest has complained that there is no way we can't do Abhishekam for Lord Rama because there's no way for the water to go out. And so many of these things, just to say that he's like a nameplate Hindutva, it didn't work. He tried to revive it in the end. Then he rejected that. Then he went to Hindu-Muslim. Then he went to multiple topics saying that he himself is God. He was not biologically born. All this has actually pushed Hindutva away from BJP. I think it is time that BJP rejects this kind of nonsense. BJP's root has always been Hindutva, whether it was a part of Jansangh, it split on its own, it tried to do comeback. The 2014 and 19 clearly showed Hindutva is the important plank for the BJP, and they rejected it in 2024, and they got thrashed. From 302 seats, they came to 240. It's a clear rejection of this Viksit and Vikas and kind of nonsense that Modi tried to peddle. It's not going to work. The core Hindutva must be there at any point in time. That's the lesson BJP should learn from this. Hopefully they do.
Yeah, Ramesh, let me just make one more point to contradict the conclusion that you have drawn. You see, I mentioned 2014 and 2019 deliberately because this is where the Muslims were countered by the unity of Hindus.
Correct.
This time it did not happen. And it did not happen for the simple reason that economic reasons overpowered the religious sentiments. Astha and Dharma were not given so much importance as economic issues, and therefore Hindutva took a back seat. At least I can say the places where BJP had bumper majority, except Madhya Pradesh, they have still swept, but they lost about 10 seats in Rajasthan. They lost about 30 seats in UP. They lost 5 seats in Haryana. This part of the northern India, where a significant number of seats were lost, that was because of this reason, that Hindutva was not the one single factor which has been a dominant factor for BJP's success in all other elections.
Arvindji, one small thing. I think Hindutva might have taken a back seat, but it was always there. That is what I'm trying to say. Because you can't say Hindutva is not at all a factor. Yes, economy is important. I understand economy, and they completely misjudged it. People are suffering. Dr. Swami in his introduction said that people are suffering from an economic standpoint, right? I mean, they still are. And they think that talking about inflation is is only for the elites. The poor people of UP in the north or across the country have rejected BJP because they know their purse is hurting. Savings is at an all-time low ever in modern India, forget about, I'm not talking pre-independence. People say, oh, then I'll go back, Andhbaks will go back to 1930s, the savings are low. That's not what I'm trying to say. In modern, post-modern Narasimha Rao India, wherever the modernization happened, the dip in household savings is the lowest ever in the history of modern India. People are eating into their savings. They're not able to gain anything. But unemployment is very high, even though they claim 7 or 8%, but the real unemployment being rural is about 11%. And inflation, they say, oh, inflation is only 5 or 6. That's nonsense, because they're clubbing automobile as if everybody is going to buy automobile every day. The putting off. But if you look at the core commodities, it is hurting people. Sabzi, they can't buy basic things, and they're double digit, 30% for vegetables. That is the inflation rate today in India for vegetables is 30%. Oils and spices, they are 18%. So when people saw this, they rejected it on that ground. But core Hindutva is, they don't let go of that, because that is their values, and they hurt that very badly, because Modi thought that they can gloss over Viksit and Vikas Bharat. And Dr. Swami warned Modi, not today, 1 year ago, don't do this Shining Bharat nonsense. You have to address the basic issues of the people, which they failed. And I think it resulted in a combination of factors, and it resulted where we are today. This is my rebuttal.
May
Yes,
I
sir.
add something? You see, I give you a small incident of this lack of respect for the Hindutva that Mr. Modi had demonstrated. I had been saying that in the Constitution of India, at the urging of Mahatma Gandhi, we put in an extra clause saying that cows will not be,
Allowed to be slaughtered.
Yeah, so cows will be protected. Now, I took this up in Parliament after writing several letters to Modi, and Modi is just ignoring it. I got up in Parliament and said that we should, I got in the ballot my name, and I put it, and I was surprised to find that not only the BJP MPs were all enthusiastic in supporting me, but the Mulayam Singh's party people, they got up, the Muslim representative said, I may be a Muslim, but I respect the fact that the cows are sacred for you, and I will not allow anyone to cut it. Like this, even the Congress was finally forced to support my motion. So everything was agreed. Then came the Mr. Vijay Goyal, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, telling me that he's got a message from Modi that I should withdraw this. I said, I'll do nothing of the kind. The House has already taken notice of it. So I'm going ahead to take a vote, and I would have won the thing. He then sent another message saying that he will ask the agriculture minister to come and say that the next session of Parliament, which was 3 sessions away, 3 years away from the next election, the next session of Parliament, he will have the agriculture minister get up the very first day and say that they bring a bill to ban cow slaughter. On that, I yielded, but never it was brought. 3 times in the occasions I have tried to say. So what this shows is, it is this arrogance which has been hurting the people. For Nadda to say, we don't need RSS. Atal Bihari Vajpayee needed it, but we don't need RSS. I know what a meek mouse this president of ours is. And for him to say it means he must have been told to say it. At least he should have been contradicted. But it was not contradicted. So this hubris, as there's a Greek word for it, hubris, which Mr. Modi had, makes it impossible for us to win over the public vote. And therefore, if you want to win the next election, you must ask him to step down. In any way, he's a pracharak, and he's now going to be 75 on the 17th of September. And therefore, he should go for Margdarshan on his own, because that is the requirement on which the Advani and Murli Joshi, as former Pracharaks, they had to obey and do it. And he must do so. Then only this party can rise.
Dr. Swami, I have one question on this. I have one question on this. You know RSS and you know BJP both very well, and you can answer this question. Question is, when Indresh Kumar mentioned that BJP lost due to arrogance, entire BJP leadership kept silent, but entire Sant community, starting from Ayodhya and Hanuman Gadi and Mahant Raju Radha, they all pounced on Indresh Kumar. So much so that Indresh Kumar had to backtrack and withdraw his statement, and then he revised his statement saying that it is not only arrogance but some other factors as well. So how real do you think is this RSS versus BJP issue? Because you mentioned about Nadda. Nadda has been rewarded and given a cabinet rank health ministry by saying that RSS is not needed. So naturally, it had the support of the highest leadership in BJP. But the question is, how real is this feud between BJP and RSS?
Listen, first of all, you must know the background of this RSS and the political party they floated. When Jansangh was floated, the RSS felt that in the parliament nobody speaks up for them, because they were a non-political organization, and this was being used by Jawaharlal Nehru against the RSS and blaming them for Mahatma Gandhi's murder, which is rubbish. I'm willing to debate with anybody who wants to prove that it's all nonsense. In fact, I can anyway. I don't want to go far afield, but I'm saying that's how they started. That we need a set of people in parliament who can do their politics or whatever they want, but they must stand up and defend the RSS, and RSS during the election will provide them workers to win the case. Now, then it grew, and RSS grew. The people who were Jansangh and later on BJP, they also grew. Now, the answer to your question is that RSS is not obliged to rescue BJP. They expressed an opinion. That itself is a big thing. This is something we have to do. I'm a case of a person whom I have done what I have to do. But Mr. Modi can't appeal to the RSS because the RSS says that he's a member of the BJP. You deal with him directly. Don't bring us into the picture. So that is that mistake that people have. Why isn't RSS taking a stand? It is not in the RSS ideology. It is not in the RSS thinking that they should directly intervene to do it. If a large number of BJP leaders go to RSS and say, please help us, they may help you. But they are not going to, and they should not be criticized for not intervening effectively to take over the BJP.
One thing is, sorry, Arvind, you're muted. I was talking. Okay. One thing is okay. Sorry.
And you got the
One thing is certain that the low or poor performance of the BJP and going below the majority mark has been a way of alarm bell for the BJP, because they were ignoring Hindutva, and now they will have to the BJP ideology will have to revert back and focus more on Hindutva. That is one aspect. Second thing, as some BJP leaders have said, some have been owned or disowned some statement, the arrogance of the leaders who are in government was so high. Just take the latest case of the NEET exams scam or the exam scams, which is in fact going on since 2020.
Yeah.
It started during the COVID period. The student community was very upset. In fact, one of the reasons is new students who have become 18 and onwards really were very frustrated by these competitive exams or selection exams where all type of scams and uncertainty exists. Today, BJP has been forced to take action, the same action they could have done 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or to be precise 4 years ago. But in their ivory towers, they ignored the students community and the youth. So that is one of the factors that due to this reduced seats, now they will become perhaps more responsive. That is at least the least we are expecting from these government, that they will become more responsive to people's and students and youth demands, and especially urban middle class and the farmers issues. Arvind, you are saying something, sorry.
वही जो बात मैं पहले कह चुका हूं, डॉक्टर स्वामी से मैंने प्रश्न पूछा था, उस प्रश्न के संदर्भ में मैं ये बात कहना चाहता हूं कि आरएसएस प्रमुख मोहन भागवत जी गोरखपुर में थे। 3 दिन उन्होंने गोरखपुर में प्रवास किया और योगी से उनकी मुलाकात नहीं हुई। मीडिया ने बहुत चर्चा की कि क्या आरएसएस और बीजेपी में डिफरेंस अभी भी कायम है कि मोहन भागवत जी ने योगी आदित्यनाथ से मुलाकात नहीं की। अगले दिन योगी आदित्यनाथ की मोहन भागवत जी से मुलाकात हो गई। फिर मीडिया ने चर्चा ये शुरू की, क्या मोहन भागवत जी योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के साथ मिलकर कुछ मोदी के खिलाफ कुछ षड्यंत्र कर रहे हैं या कुछ। तो मीडिया में इस तरह की चर्चाएं ये बहुत कॉमन है। और डॉक्टर स्वामी, जैसे कि आपने कहा, आरएसएस का काम करने का एक अपना ढंग है, अपना एक तरीका है, अपनी एक पद्धति है, और वो डायरेक्ट हस्तक्षेप नहीं करता है बीजेपी की राजनीति में। हालांकि पृष्ठभूमि में वो जरूर बीजेपी की ताकत है। और रमेश ने कहीं पे बोला था कि आरएसएस के लोगों ने भी इस बार उतने उत्साह से काम नहीं किया जितने उत्साह से वो हमेशा करते रहे थे। ये भी एक फैक्टर रहा कि बीजेपी के वोट कम हुए।
Dr. Swami, one additional thing, even if you look at from an Hindutva, why Hindutva rejected Modi? Because they all see what is happening to them. So during the Prana Pratishtha, all the priests, Hindu people, they were all kept out. The Shankaracharyas were kept out. This does have an impact, Dr. Swami. People trust in these people more. Okay, Modi, they all know it's transitory. He comes in and he goes, and there's another political leader. But spiritual leaders are separate. They are not political. They are not, they don't, all this undercurrent, I think BJP is completely misunderstood. And I am definitely, Dr. Swami, I know I had an argument with Jagdish also about this, that I think RSS should have stepped up. That I still feel that RSS did not do what it's supposed to do, because they definitely would have seen this undercurrent, Dr. Swami. I strongly feel they should have advised Modi well before, at least 2-3 months before the election, saying, maybe we can always speculate this with a James Bond style, saying that, oh, they would have done, whatever RSS does, nobody knows, kind of a thing. But that hypotheticals aside, RSS should have impressed on Modi and said, you are going about this wrong. Our feedback from at the lower pracharaks, because they are glued to the ground like nobody else, you have to bring this to some kind of a balance, otherwise you're going to lose. Either they did that and Modi rejected it, all these speculations can happen. But I still feel that RSS should have stepped up, and them showing up now and Bhagwat saying what he's supposed to say is, in my view, doing Surya Namaskar after you're blind. I think we have to, at least they're doing it now, maybe betterment for BJP later, but they should have done it before. In one way, yes, Modi's ego has been cut to size. Maybe that's what they wanted to do. I'm happy about that. But in essence, RSS should take a more active role. I understand you don't want them to do it, or that's not in their DNA. But I think they have to change with time, Dr. Swami, because what we are facing, we are not seeing anything. Because you have issued one important thing you even started today was that sense of national security is absolutely zilch with the government, where people are occupying, be it Bangladesh or Rohingyas, be it the people infiltrating from Pakistan, be it China. I mean, at what point in time is this government going to realize this is also impacting the country?
Now, see, just a short comment, because what you have raised is requires actually a uh, full show for us. The fact is that the national executive of the party, the parliamentary board of the party, has a RSS nominee provided by RSS, who's a full-time pracharak, or in fact even an office bearer. And he then tells them what is the opinion of the RSS in the meeting. So, therefore, to say that RSS is playing no role, that's not correct. The question is that once they start doing micromanaging BJP, then RSS will not be able to do RSS work. Because after all, it's a gigantic organization. They hold conferences which require at least 4-5 months of preparation. Their annual meetings are huge, with a great deal of so, and then they have they also educate them. These all these pracharaks that come, they all go and are subject to tests, exams, and so on. All kinds of things that. So if they start getting into the day-to-day politics, then there'll be no RSS at all.
No, I also want to add to what Dr. Swami said and what Ramesh had argued with me before the elections. The RSS style of functioning is not the political style of BJP or any political party. First of all, it's not taking commands or these things from the BJP guys. It knows what is best in the interest of the nation. So what they may want to convey to BJP or not convey to BJP will not come out in a regular press meet or in the newspapers. They have their own ways of doing it, and I'm sure they are all concerned, and at least what has come out is some indication of what must be happening behind the scene. But second thing, Rameshji, I came across an article which was about a month old in a Marathi newspaper from interior Maharashtra. And the story is something like this. I am not saying whether it is true or false. They say that the RSS wanted to replace Modi before the elections. And it said one of the arguments was, if Modi was replaced before the elections and BJP did not perform well, then the blame would come on RSS that because you changed Modi, the BJP did not perform well. So the RSS people said, it seems, this is the article, I don't know how far, whether there is any truth, but the RSS people said, we don't want to interfere now, let us go with Modi as the prime ministerial candidate and let us face the elections. So now nobody can blame the RSS that they had changed the candidate and then that's why BJP did not perform well. Now, reading that article afterwards makes some sense that there could be some truth in it, or because RSS is quite intelligent and their leaders, and they have seen the nation for the last 100 years, so they know what is in the best interest. So maybe what we expect RSS to do, ball-to-ball commentary, perhaps that is not their style of functioning. That only least I can say. I'm not their spokesman, but for whatever little we know about RSS, their style of functioning is different. And at least in the last 10 days, Modi is at least facing plenty of heat on this issue from various sources. That is also an indicator of what may be happening or what may happen in future. We cannot dilute Hindutva. We cannot neglect our core constituency, and we cannot think of, doing appeasement of the minorities and this angle and that angle and look at everything. Our core constituency and the Hindutva cannot be diluted. Our fight for good governance and against corrupt also should not be compromised. This is my general addition to what Ramesh and Dr. Swami mentioned about RSS and the core ideology.
Anecdotally, Dr. Swami, Modi and Rajnath have now been inducted into the Margdarshan Mandal of BJP.
Yes, I saw that. Because both of them, for RSS people, it is a mandatory thing. Once you are 75, you retire. So, those in the BJP who are originally being assigned to RSS by RSS to BJP, they are bound by that, and so let's see what happens in this matter, because in September 17th, when the birthday of Mr. Modi comes, it is going to be another issue for him.
Jagdish ji, if possible, next week, can we discuss this NEET debacle? Because this has really taken up a different angle, and I think because we have discussed this earlier, maybe a year and a half ago, as Jagdish ji said, students have been against this. Basically the haphazard way how this has been going. This is not something new. This is not crop up now. Jagdish told us, because I think we have discussed this before, Jagdish, right? I mean, about a year and a half ago, right? We did talk about this. Is that something that we can explore? I think a lot of viewers would love to hear about that, Dr. Swami, because the debacle that we have today in the so-called exams, even though the intent or the reason as to why this was made was the right way, but the execution has been, I mean, if not anything, disastrous. Like this,
okay, we can definitely consider it's an evolving story, but definitely the youth and the students have been let down badly in the last 4 to 5 years. There is uncertainty, and students are feeling that there is nobody listening to us. Everybody has to run to court, and the rich people get these leaks, and all these things are happening. In fact, the arrogancy of the IT cell, if you analyze, they were the one who were spreading disinformation on this whole exam system in the last 4 years. So these fake narrative walas also have to be eliminated ideologically in BJP, so that the real narrative comes out. The fake narratives are one of the very important grounds for which BJP performed badly. The fake narrative, anything happens, they would give some spin on that. Ram Setu not declared a national heritage monument because Modi thinks that he can use the thorium from the sands there. All these type of fake narratives, for everything they have some answer. All are from that WhatsApp university. Fake narratives are one of the reasons. Even on the student issue, 4 years fake narratives were spread against the students community. That's a large community, and the youth, they also been affected, and now for the first time, because of the bad results, they have now agreed to do some corrective steps. But I would say it is too late in the day for doing this.
Arvind, Jagdish ji,
Arvind.
yes, 2
Yeah,
days
I
ago,
think this is an important issue.
One quick thing. Jagdish ji, a couple of days ago, you spoke to Sri. Can you give us the main bullet points as to why Modi got rejected? I think this is a topic as to, but I would say it is a rejection of Modi. Your 4 or 5 bullet points that you would say that you spoke to Sri for the benefit of the viewers here.
I could quickly go through it, although we are running out of time.
Just get 2 minutes.
There was no collective leadership.
Okay.
And second was losing sight of the main ideology and issues for which 2014 election victory was obtained. Remember, the election victory of 2014 was against the corruption. We campaigned against the corruption of the UPA, against Rahul and Sonia's corruption, and the 2G scam. We've lost sight of that. Second was Hindutva. And Third was the promise of good governance. That is the losing sight of that main ideology. The next point was no serious efforts to fight corruption or prosecute the crooks, and no word on black money. In fact, anybody raised black money, it was considered, oh, he's talking something against the government. How is it against the government? It is part of Modi's speeches prior to 2014. The electoral bond scam, also the middle class voters, the urban voters saw this as a big setback for the ideology and the name which BJP had. Then again, which we just said it again, the fifth point is the fake narratives which was spread by the fake IT cell walas and which was living in their own make-believe world. Sixth, too much dependent on babus and bureaucrats to run the government, and also imposing some of them as ministers for political work. There were no organizational elections in the 10 years of BJP rule, whether it is for state president, national executive, parliamentary board. All was ad hoc, and these ad hoc people then distributed tickets to their selected people. Many of the stalwarts like Advani ji, Murli Manohar Joshi ji, Shanta Kumar ji, Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, Arun Shourie, General V.K. Singh, Suresh Prabhu, Dr. Harshvardhan, and Pragya Thakur, and many more at a various state and district level were ignored by the BJP leadership, and rank newcomers were given tickets. For example, this Mumbai Congress chief, ex-Congress chief, Kripa Shankar Singh, was given a ticket. He was at a function where a book release was done against the RSS, and he was given a BJP ticket from Uttar Pradesh. And there were many others. Incidentally, I forgot to tell the viewers that day that the same Kripa Shankar Singh, on one of the 2G accused Balwas, had arranged an attack on a public meeting held by Dr. Swamy at Churchgate.
That's right.
And he was the man who organized this. And BJP is rewarding that man with a ticket. Forget they're doing anything on 2G victims, but they are giving a ticket to him to become Lok Sabha. Fortunately, he lost. The next was neglected of the time-tested advice of the Sangh Parivar. That I kept saying, which Mr. Ratan Shardaji and others in the organizer and other forums have articulated that now. And 10th most important point was the land grab, latest land grab across the LAC in Ladakh after May 2020. This
by the Chinese.
By the Chinese, and the Prime Minister said, koi aaya nahi, koi gaya nahi. So these were the 10 factors which really contributed the poor performance of Modi in 2024. Although this subject was a little different, but in that I have also covered that Hindutva was diluted and neglected. So these were the main reasons for the failure of us to get a majority, and having got a majority in the two last elections of 2014 and 2019. Sorry, I have to sum up this as quick as possible because we have gone past our time.
Arvindji, you can conclude.
Yes. I think the core issue of today's discussion was whether the 2024 election results were a rejection of Hindutva. And as Dr. Swamy has briefed in the beginning, and all other observations have been made by colleagues like Jagdish Shetty and Ramesh, these are basically pointing to the direction that yes, there is a dilution in the BJP's stand on Hindutva. If you recall, from 1984, where BJP had only 2 seats, one from Sikandrabad and one from Gujarat, A.K. Patel and Jangareddy, and how BJP got into the Hindutva plank through that Palanpur resolution and all that in Himachal Pradesh. Mr. Shanta Kumar was the prime mover of that in the beginning. BJP's dilution of this Hindutva issue is not good for the country, I'm also saying, because if it leaves, it paves the way for Congress to come, which is even more dangerous. So even if there is a BJP with 240 seats with reduced majority and all that, at least that so-called secularists, those who are not Rashtravadi, at least they did not get chance. So there is some kind of satisfaction. And the issues which Mr. Jagdish Shetty has also highlighted about the loss of BJP, combined with those issues, and major issue, Dr. Swami has been saying that Hindutva plus economic issues. So the combination of Hindutva and economic issues can only strengthen BJP. In one of the last programs also we had discussed BJP's the loss of the majority, but what is the way out? How can BJP be strengthened once again? And that is only the correct path, maybe change of leadership, as Dr. Swami has been saying. If Modi, after 10 years of incumbency factor, or the mistakes that the leadership has committed, if those mistakes are rectified with the change in the leadership, perhaps yes, BJP can be strengthened once again. Of course, the current issue is that Dr. Swami has been suggesting that BJP should not have formed the government with the two crushes of Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu, should have sat in the opposition. Maybe people are also saying, let's see the politics of how the politics unfolds in the next 6 months to in a year, and whether the government will last longer or not. With this point, thank you, Dr. Swami, for giving your real wisdom to our viewers about the analysis of the current political situation and the performance of BJP in the last election. Thanks, Jagdish Shetty ji and Ramesh Swami ji, for providing inputs in addition to Dr. Swami. And today I saw the kind of reaction that we are seeing from the viewers in terms of the comments is very fast. I mean, many more viewers are really participating in the discussion and debate. They're also suggesting the points to be. This is a good sign for Words of Wisdom Gyan Ganga. Thank you, viewers, for being loyal to us and increasing our viewership over a period of time. Thanks the technical team led by Ashish Shetty, Swaminathan, Gadgi Rakesh, Ishwar Iyer, Tejas Navalgul, Vishal Mehta, Ajesh Nair, and Gurdas Shetty. We'll be meeting again next Sunday with a new program with Dr. Subramanian Swami, a new topic, and the current viewership. As Jagdish had said in the beginning, the viewership is global. It is not only in India, and therefore this program goes beyond the boundaries of India. Thank you, viewers, for supporting us for so long. We will be meeting next Sunday, 8 p.m. Till then, Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Jai Shri Ram.